All righty, folks. Welcome to Connect AI Innovators, the pitch competition that brings together leading members of the media with startups using the latest in artificial intelligence. My name is Jim Glade, and I'm a partner at Publicize, a PR firm for growth stage companies. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Stefania Trancoso, who helped organize this event, and it's also her birthday. So happy birthday, Stefania. Thank you for being with us. We're pleased to be joined today by a host of leading journalists who report on the fields of artificial intelligence, emerging technology, business and startups, and much, much more. And we're equally privileged to host 7 very exciting startups offering innovative solutions that involve AI as they pitch their ventures in front of these distinguished media judges. We'll also be hosting a Q&A session with the media at the end of the event. So attendees and startups, it's a great time to kind of pick the brains of kind of this decades of experience collectively that we have on the call here today of journalists. We're very pleased to welcome 2 special guests that are going to kick us off and say a few words before we begin the event today. I'll introduce each one of them and bring them up on stage to speak for a couple minutes individually, and then we'll hop into the competition. First up, I'm very happy to host Ranjit Tinekar, who is the Chief Executive Officer and Board Member of Ness Digital Engineering, a global provider of digital transformation solutions. Ranjit has over 30 years of experience in the technology services sector with a track record of driving growth in global businesses that he has managed. In the past, he served as president of Fitch Solutions, a data and analytical services business, and Ranjit was also a partner at McKinsey, where he was one of the earliest leaders in forming their digital practice. At McKinsey, he also founded the lean software development and IT strategy practices. Ranjit, thank you so much, sir, for being with us. And if you'd like to say a few words, we'd love to hear from you.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here and always exhilarating to meet a bunch of entrepreneurs. I live in a world which is somewhere between the large corporates and the ventures. We are a mid-sized private equity-owned firm. KKR owns us. So I kind of relate to your day-to-day challenges somewhat, but I'm sure your challenges are quite distinct. Just by way of introduction, I come from technology. Before I joined the real world, I used to be a technology faculty at Carnegie Mellon. That's where a lot of my software work comes from. And at Ness Digital Engineering, we are essentially a software engineering firm. We are not a traditional tech services firm in the sense that we build software for software companies. So, the video streaming platforms in your Hilton hotel rooms was built by us. If you parked your car in New York City using a mobile app, the whole GPS system that tells your car which ones to park on was built by us. That's the kind of work we do. And for me personally, the reason why AI is particularly interesting is it promises to transform my industry in a fundamental way, both on the supply side and the demand side. And I see it as an opportunity more than a challenge, but AI can basically transform the productivity equation for software engineering, right? And that's what we do. So that's one big question on the supply side. So do I need less programmers or more programmers? And the answer to that lies on the demand side, because AI, thanks to all of you, is going to create lots of applications, and you need software engineers to build them. So that's the plus side of it, right? And so I live right in the middle of that storm, and I'm really excited to meet all of you. And frankly, learn from you.
No, thank you so much, Ranjit, again for your words, and again, fascinating what you've built so far. So thanks a ton. I didn't realize that you were also a faculty member at university, so it's quite fitting that our next guest as well. So thank you so much for joining us, Ranjit. Also, I'm very pleased to welcome today Paul Orlando, who's an adjunct professor for the Lloyd Grief Center for Entrepreneurial Studies at the University of Southern California and the director of the USC Marshall Grief Incubator program there. Paul works with businesses founded by USC students, alumni, and faculty, and teaches growth hacking and venture innovation or initiation at USC, and recently ended their first AI incubator program at the university as well. Paul's also an accomplished author, having written a book on unit economics called Growth Units, and his latest book, released just this year, is called Why Now? How Good Timing Makes Great Products. and helps readers understand the way timing impacts startup success. Paul, I couldn't think of another better person to be here as well. So thank you, sir. Love to hear from you.
Thanks, Jim. This looks like really just such a great event. And thanks so much to the organizers, to Jim and Stefania, and all the media judges for participating and putting this together, and for inviting me to say a couple words as you all get started. Really quick about me is I'm a former founder who learned the hard way, by making a lot of these mistakes, in as painful a way as possible, years ago. And after that, for about the past 10, 12 years, my interest has been in helping early stage startups get going. I've primarily done that by building startup accelerator programs. I've built and operated 4 of these in different parts of the world. And day to day, I teach at the University of Southern California, and I run the on-campus startup program. And those collected experiences really gave me this great interest in how we can learn from the efforts of others who came before us when it comes to building successful startups. So things like assessing business models, access to funding, market entrance, and it's actually that that market entrance, or that why now question, that I've really been interested in for the last couple of years. So something for all of you that I'd ask you to consider as you're building your own businesses is, how do you assess if you're entering the right market at the right time? So we call this the why now question often. And I spent the last couple of years doing a lot of research, workshopping this topic. So I'll just give you like 3 things to remember as you start to think about your own why now. So one is, as you're building, look around for what I call timing drivers. This could be a new tech, a regulatory change. It could be a crisis that's emerging. There's 12 of these, types of drivers I track. I'm not going to go through each of them, but just be aware that there's probably things happening maybe completely out of your control, but you can learn something from them. The second thing is, importantly, judge if those drivers are actually going to improve or create a new business model that you can take advantage of. That's a step that I often see people leave out when they're talking about timing. And then the third is, when it comes to reflecting inwardly and thinking about your own organizational strengths, you can then determine, hey, do you have the internal capacity to enter on the early side? Should you wait for somebody else to go first and learn from their mistakes? A lot of things that you can consider, but those are kind of 3 quick things to remember. If you're interested in this topic, I hope you check out this book called Why Now. It looks like this. I go through a lot of previous failed and successful startup examples and what we can learn from them. And then lastly, I really just want to encourage everyone who is participating today. You're here because of a lot of the new capabilities that are unleashed by developments in AI. Something that's changed dramatically in just a short time. So I look forward to learning more about your businesses, and wish you the best for today. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Paul. Really appreciate your words of encouragement. And I did want to mention a bit of a surprise as well. We'll be sure to send all the participants today a copy of Paul's book, Why Now, as well. So again, thank you very much, Paul, for that. And it's really great to have you again. Thank you. All right, folks. Without any further ado, we'll go ahead and meet our media judges. Judges, I ask if you wouldn't mind just coming on and saying a quick hello so we can put a face to a bio. Amelia David is a senior AI reporter at VentureBeat, a leading publication covering emerging technology trends in the enterprise space. She covers all aspects of AI, from policy to its responsible and ethical use, as well as productivity platforms. She's written about financial technology, the capital markets, consumer technology, commodities, trade policies, etc. in past life, and her work has also appeared on other publications like The Verge, Business Insider, Venture Capital Journal, CNBC, and many more. Amelia, it's really great to have you here today with us.
Hi, really great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm actually writing up something just a little bit, so if you see me looking at it, I'm just filing a story.
No worries. Work never ends. Work never ends. But I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. Also, we're very excited to host Thomas McCauley, who is senior reporter at The Next Web, a news and events company owned by the Financial Times. Thomas covers European tech, focusing on AI, cybersecurity, and government policy, among much more. Before joining The Next Web, Thomas was a senior online editor at IDG as well. Thomas, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to the pitches. Yeah, I've been covering AI startups probably for about 7 years now, so always excited to see what's next in the sector.
Fantastic. Couldn't pick a better judge. Victor Day is a longtime technology journalist specializing in AI, data science, the metaverse, startups, and cybersecurity. He currently contributes to the New York Observer and was previously a tech editor at VentureBeat. His master's degree in data science and analytics provides a unique perspective to his reporting on the subject. So, Victor, thank you so much for being with us as well.
Thanks for the great introduction, Jim. Always a pleasure to be here. All the best to everyone presenting and looking forward to hearing some insightful pitches today.
Fantastic, Victor. Thanks a ton. Also with us today, Ben Wadecki is an accomplished technology journalist with extensive experience covering cutting-edge developments in AI. Ben was named among MVPR's top 18 journalists writing about AI in 2024. He recently joined Capacity Media as a senior reporter, having spent over 3.5 years at AI Business. Ben, thank you so much for being here with us as well.
No, thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, just recently moved. So if you've recently read me on AI Business, I've moved, much to the disdain, or much to the pleasure, rather, of some of the PRs who I've had the rightful of ruining them in terms of running their pitches. So yeah, hopefully not doing that with some of the startups tonight.
Thank you so much, Ben. I appreciate it. Also with us today, this gentleman has a background actually in entrepreneurship as well as the media. Tom Allen is the founder and CEO of the AI Journal, a publication that provides news, analysis, opinion, and market trends specifically on emerging AI technologies. Tom has also presented at AI summits around the world and has shared the speaker stage with the head of AI and robotics at the United Nations, the CTO of Cloudera, and global vice chair at EY, among many others. Tom, thank you so much for being with us as well.
Yeah, nice one. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to today and seeing the pictures. Be a lot of fun. Great to be here with you all.
Cheers. We're happy to have you. And last but not least, we're very pleased to introduce Antoine Tardif, who's the founder and CEO of Unite.ai, a leading website for artificial intelligence news. His work has allowed him to access to AI specialists for interviews at companies like Intel, IBM, and other large corporations, as well as innovative founders in the startup space. Antoine is also a member of the Forbes Business Council and regularly contributes articles on AI to the business publication. Thank you, Antoine, for being here with us as well.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on board.
It's really great to have you. All right, folks, we'll hop right into it. I'm going to start my timer. I'll bring each one of you up on stage individually, and you'll pitch for around 2 minutes. From there, we'll open up for questions from the media panel. Again, I ask that everybody keep their cameras on and really encourage the judges to provide feedback as well as ask follow-up questions to the founders. This whole event is kind of all about learning and improving as well. So first up has the not easy task of starting us off. We have Sam Oliver, founder of OpenFi. Sam, give me 1 second, sir. I'll pass you the presenter role so you can share your screen.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
Cheers. Okay. You should be able to share your screen now, Sam. Let me know.
Wonderful.
So I can see your screen.
Brilliant. Hi there. I am Sam from OpenFi. Now, I want you to imagine that you are the CEO of Rent-A-Kill, the large pest control business, or the CEO of L&C, the largest mortgage broker in the UK, or the CEO of Spire, a chain of private hospitals. You all have the same problem. hundreds of sales staff that need to book in business before your competitors. OpenFi has built an AI sales development representative. This is able to respond to inbound leads 24/7, instantly, in any language and from any source. Most importantly, booking business ahead of the competition. To show you under the bonnet of how it exactly works, the first thing that we do is we create a company's knowledge base. So we import all of the information on their website, their pricing documents, their onboarding documentation, and we then start to connect to their messaging channels. Once we have done that, we then take their sales script and we build a qualification journey. And this means that when a lead comes inbound by email onto their website, the lead can ask any single question and the AI is able to answer, but the AI has an agenda, which is to run through a sales script, pre-qualify the lead, and then book them in for a call or get them to a call to action. The key thing about an AI SDR, it has unlimited patience and it always follows up no matter how many times it has to nudge the lead, and it always updates the CRM correctly. Our pricing starts from £2,000 per month, which is for up to 2,000 conversations. And our objective is to make it easy for the customer to buy from you, to make your sales staff love you, and to make sure that you are out innovating the competition. Thanks so much, guys. I would love your questions.
Awesome, Sam, and under time as well. Fantastic presentation. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and we'll open up for questions and comments from the media panel. I see some hands being raised already, so we'll start off with Victor, and then we'll go to Amelia and Thomas.
Yeah, hi there. First of all, Sam, great presentation. Just wanted to ask something as critical as sales, where the clients, a great understanding of the client's context matters. Do you think AI can deliver the same empathy and the same sensitivity as a human, or do you think this is just a tool to supercharge your day-to-day work?
We spoke to one of our smaller clients and they have a team of 4 brokers and they had about 350 inquiries in from their website. And they were so busy, they weren't even able to respond to all of their inquiries. So when you look at the customer experience, the current customer experience is no response at all. AI can do a far better job than that. I also do think it can be more empathetic. And a large part of what we do when we set up the knowledge base is we also import brand guidelines and tone of voice to be able to ensure that we're portraying the brand in the way that they want.
Awesome. I hope that answers the question, Victor. All right, we'll go next to Amelia.
Yeah, so I'm interested to kind of understand if this is something that could scale with the potential customer. Some customers, when they start off, they don't really have, they kind of have their own way of dealing with leads, right? But as they go on, sometimes they then get Salesforce and all of those other types of platforms. So does it connect to these platforms? Can your customers kind of grow along and bring you along with them on their journey?
We're targeting specifically companies that are in professional services. They need to have over 10,000 visitors a month to their website, and they need to sell a product or service that's over $5,000 in value. And we're looking at companies that are already on Salesforce, so not working with the smaller end of the market. I think ideally in the future, we would like the platform to be self-serve. So the admin dashboard I showed you is just internal. I could see it getting to a stage where the technology is so good that anyone of any size can come in and set it up. But as we're just starting, less than 6 months in business, we're really focused on revenue generation.
Perfect. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Amelia, for the question as well. We'll go to Antoine, Thomas, and then Ranjit as well.
Is there a maximum data limit on how much data can be trained?
Oh, that is a fantastic question, which I would need to ask Bilal from our team, who has a master's in adaptive neurocomputing. I don't know the answer to that one. Sorry.
And at the moment, it's 2,000 conversations can be done. What's the add-on cost for additional conversations?
So we're roughly pricing it at £1 per conversation, but that scale will slide down with volume.
And my last question is, how do you convince enterprises that this is not just like a legacy chatbot company?
It's the biggest question that I get, and the best way that we do it is actually demo to the extent of already importing the knowledge base on their website, already looking at a similar company's pre-qualification questionnaire and customizing it for them so that they can see it working and they realize that it's not a horrible linear flow with 4 options, and if the person doesn't answer one of the options, it loops back round and is terrible, because it's a complete world of difference. It would be like comparing your old Nokia to your new iPhone. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Antoine. Great questions. We'll go ahead with Thomas.
Sure. Antoine actually already asked one of the questions I had, but just as a second one, do you have any sort of evidence in terms of the impacts it can have on customers, whether that's some sort of research data or even anecdotally, any stories about what benefits it's had?
Yeah, so we've only actually done one pilot so far, and we saw 2.3 times uplift in the number of appointments booked compared to the A/B test of sending traffic to a standard landing page with just a form. We're launching with 4 paid pilots in September, and those are larger scale customers. So we are super early in the journey, and we don't have a lot of case study data yet, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to be far better than the current experience consumers are getting.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks a ton, Thomas. Ranjit, if you'd like to go, sir.
I didn't have a question, but just as a user of Salesforce and somebody who cares about converting the leads, my personal experience in converting what I would call cold leads into appointments and then revenue has not been great. But one area that I think makes sense for you to focus on, because that is a pain point for me, is the leads are generated, and the scheduling of appointments involves coordinating with the salespeople who got other things going on, and they will never show up. So I think you have something here to fix that pain point where marketing generates leads, but the sales guys don't have appointments to convert them, right? And after some time, if you don't respond within, I don't know, 1 day, that lead goes dead. You have to respond within 24 hours. So your tool actually reduces that time to set up appointments. But the one thing I would say is make sure when you pitch this, you identify this real problem of the handoff between marketing and sales that prevents us from creating the yield that we need. And that would also mean you have to integrate with the sales processes and make sure that those appointments, you have to follow up with the sales guy too, not just the customer. That's the point.
I love it. And if you would like to try piloting the software as a Salesforce customer, do let me know. Would be delighted to set you up with a more detailed demo.
Sure.
Thanks a ton, Ranjit. Great feedback. We'll wrap it up with Ben. Ben, if you want to.
I'm not a Salesforce customer, but I'm keen, Sam, to work out, you're looking at those people who are already on Salesforce. Any names you can give us in terms of people that have come across, or at least you mentioned 2 names at the start. I'm keen to look at users that are looking at this, or at least the kind of industries that people are interacting with on this.
Yeah, so Salesforce is 24% of the world's CRM market, and a third of their customers are professional services, which is usually high ticket, high volume businesses. For example, Rent-A-Kill is a Salesforce user, Jones Lang LaSalle, Salesforce user in real estate, healthcare, also L&C Salesforce user as well. So there's a huge number of businesses on it. I think there are 430,000 professional services businesses on Salesforce globally.
So no names you can give us in terms of people who have already kind of looked at what you guys are doing and moving across, even
so our first customer is a UK bank PLC, but we're under NDA with them.
Sure.
And then we're also working with 3 mortgage brokers. We're working with one of the largest litter collection marketplaces, on-demand litter collection. They're high volume, high ticket. But we really are brand new, and pilots are going live in September. So we're super early, but as soon as I have case studies, I'd love to share them with you.
Thank you, Sam. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a ton, Ben. Sam, fantastic presentation. Way to start us off, sir. Really appreciate it. We'll move on to our next founder, Alex Gordon first, who's the co-founder and CEO of Playmaker. Alex, give me 1 second, sir, and I'll pass you the presenter role. And while I do so, just a reminder to all of the judges as well, if you could please keep scoring in real time, that would be fantastic. And thanks a ton to all of the startups too for keeping your camera on and respecting the other presenters.
Brilliant. Hi, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, can, and hear you loud and clear. So whenever you're ready.
Amazing. So yeah, hi, everyone. I'm Alex Gordon Furs, co-founder and CEO of Playmaker. In short, Playmaker helps companies to save money by automating repetitive, manual, document-based processes with speed and reliability. We effectively specialize in accurately extracting and structuring critical data from various document types at scale. And then obviously users can access that data within our app or use a workflow engine to automate multi-step workflows across hundreds of tools. If I wanted to kind of break down the problem in a very simple form, effectively, businesses are drowning in repetitive manual document-based tasks. And this means in 2024, people are still running a lot of these processes. We've met companies with teams of up to 6 or 8 people purely working through, parsing through individual documents, pulling out line items and updating systems with them. And as we know, people are very, very expensive, and they also make errors, which is less than ideal when you're dealing with critical data that's coming through in documents. A good example would be financial documents. So let's start with invoices as an example. Obviously they're the backbone of many companies, or every company's kind of cash flow, but managing them can obviously be quite the challenge. Obviously many businesses find themselves drowning in a sea of invoices, sometimes hundreds or thousands a month. And it's very, very hard to keep track of which function owes what to whom and when. So if we take Playmaker as an example of a solution for that problem, effectively we automate these processes. So we drastically improve the productivity and reduce the costs of actually extracting data from these invoices. And we do that by effectively setting up tables within Playmaker that enable Playmaker to understand, our AI model to understand what data points companies want to extract from invoices. Then they feed the invoice or the folders of the invoices into Playmaker, and all of the data points they want to pull out, without any of the noise, the things they don't want to pull out, will be structured into a table format. And obviously the demand for this market, which is called intelligent document processing, is growing hugely. Especially with the advent of generative AI and large language models. And I think, ultimately, we believe that Playmaker is very well placed to become the leader in that. And we won Product of the Day on Product Hunt, which is demonstrative of that market appeal back just over a month ago. Happy to go into more use cases in the Q&A, but here's I'll just leave this slide here before we finish up.
All right, Anton, thank you so much, Alex. Great presentation, sir. Also, congrats on Product Hunt. That's awesome.
Thank you.
We'll open up for questions from the panel or any initial comments. Victor, if you want to start us off, sir.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to know more about the key differentiator of your product. Lately, we have seen a lot of platforms do this, but I would like to know, like, what's the key differentiator, and do I get an extra insight that no one else is providing? What kind of analysis does the platform provide?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to find the Zoom. There we are. So I can see you. Yeah, so ultimately, I think the differentiators here are like high levels of accuracy, and then the way that you can embed the data that you're extracting into workflows across your business, so you can actually activate the data that's coming from these unstructured documents. So in terms of accuracy, obviously that depends on the type of documents you're getting. So you can get, handwritten notes at jaunty angles scanned on, and you can also get the types of structured kind of or attachments, like PDFs attachments to emails, like I mentioned, and then you can get CSVs or spreadsheets. The latter are the more kind of easy ones to do, and I think those kind of processing those will be a commodity. The more unstructured the data, so like the sort of former that I mentioned, the more training that you do on specific documents of those structure, the better your model will be. I think that verticalizing into specific industries, which is what we're doing, will be the key to that, and will also be the key to making workflows that provide sort of an end-to-end solution for certain functions within a business, the way to differentiate. So our focus is on particularly like order to cash and procure to pay workflows within industries like retail and manufacturing, consumer goods, and that integrates some of the logistics documents as well, so like bills of lading and things like that. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, and what is your percentage of accuracy compared to others?
Good question. So I can give you an example. We recently onboarded a large private equity firm, actually, who were using us to process, up to, I think it was 5,000 PDF pages of financial performance data as part of their DD for a deal they were doing. We got up to 99.9% accuracy on that. But on some of the more difficult documents, so we just onboarded a company also that's doing waste management reporting for large companies like British Airways and so on. It was sort of down at 95% for some of the more unstructured like waste transfer notes that were at a jaunty angle, or scans of receipts and things like that, which are more difficult. So yeah, hopefully that again answers your question, but happy to follow up if you want.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Victor. We'll go ahead with Amelia.
Yeah, two questions. First, just to clarify, can this be automated anytime the business would upload any sort of like maybe invoice, for example? They don't have to program anything. It'll just automatically take all of the information they need. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So the process is what I would just describe as one and done. So all you need to do is update. So for example, if you pick invoice management or invoice processing as a process that you want to automate, you would feed in some sample documents, and our model would effectively read through those documents, auto-create a table, which is effectively column names and definitions for each individual field you want to extract. And then you basically, once that table is set up, you can just feed in as many documents as you want, whether it be one at a time or 2,000 at a time, and they will all pull into that one table format.
Okay. Second question. A lot of the bigger companies, Google, for example, have already introduced something like where they could read a photo, for example, or maybe even a PDF of an invoice. And companies or their customers can basically say, this is what I want extracted from it. How do you differentiate yourself from a lot of that more general ways, but customers are trying to figure out very good ways to fine tune those types of use cases specifically for themselves?
Yeah, so I think it comes down again, as I said, to focus. I think the very kind of generalized data extraction tools, I think, will fairly quickly become commoditized. I think it's about getting a foothold in the market, firstly with people's trust in your accuracy, and then which is what we are kind of doing, once you get a good feel for the specific use cases or sort of verticals where it's resonating, particularly, we'll kind of double down in those areas and refine it and fine tune it on behalf of companies. Like, actually doing that process costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time. We're trying to take that away from companies, and we're also focusing on sort of small to mid-size companies in traditional industries where they might not necessarily have the in-house expertise to do that whole process.
All right, thanks a ton, Amelia. I want to be really conscious of time just because we have to go through a ton of different stars. I hope it's okay if I take Thomas's question, and then, of course, Anton and Ben, I'll be sure to get to you next time. My sincere apologies. I just want to be sure.
Sure, I'll just keep it quick then. I imagine you're going to be processing a lot of extremely sensitive business information. What kind of data protection do you have in place to ensure that that's secure?
Yeah, so obviously we're compliant with things like GDPR and the CCPA. We're working through the processes that you need to get the relevant kind of like SOC 2 and ISO 27001. But obviously that kind of thing takes time. And as the previous founder, I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name, mentioned, when you're pretty early stage, it's just a matter of time. The main thing that we've put in place, a lot of this stuff is those are certifications that you are doing things in the right way. We are building privacy by design from day one, so we know that once we've had enough time to go through this processes to get the certification, it will happen, because my co-founder and CTO has previously obtained SOC 2 Type 1 and Type 2 and ISO 27001 at his previous company. So that's effectively how we're building it in from day one.
All right, thanks again, Tom. Thomas, for your
also my final thing I would say, sorry, on that is that the language models we're using, obviously via API, we don't use anything that will train any models on any of the data that's sent in via API. So that's obviously a key thing.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Thomas. Alex, thank you so much for pitching. Great job as well. We'll go ahead and move on to our next founder. I'm going to bring up Carlos Alonso, who's the CEO and founder of Scrads. Carlos, give me 1 second and I'll pass you the presenter role as well.
Okay.
All righty, you should be able now to share your screen.
Let me try. Okay.
Yep, see your screen and hear you loud and clear, so whenever you're ready.
Cool. The customer service department is significantly impacted by various issues that the users may encounter. Challenge in the customer service department, providing full service 24 hours, staff training requires a learning curve to ensure they have the necessary knowledge. It's a challenge to have staff who can effectively serve users and speak multiple languages during the high periods. High demand on periods, for example, Black Friday. It's very difficult for the companies. At Scratch, we developed a platform that integrates all the information has a company in real time, for example, CRM, ERP, web scraping, internal documents, etc., and use AI to communicate with customers in natural language. Scratch improve customer service with AI. Benefits of Scratch: cost reduction up 60%, access to all knowledge in real time, scalability, allowing it to handle any increase in chats without uses, available 24 hours, 7 days per week. Our platform can communicate in more HD languages, enabling some of our clients to consider expanding into new countries thanks to Scratch. Improve customer service quality to enhance their perception of your brand. Our platform is B2B software as a service, and we are offering three plans: the starter plan, the advanced plan, and the corporate model for those needing customization specifically for companies. Turn customer service from a problem into a growth driver. Thank you so much.
All righty, Carlos, fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that, and you did great. I know you mentioned it might have been one of your first times, but you did fantastic, sir. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. We'll go ahead and we'll open up for any questions or comments from the media judges for Carlos. If anybody wants to start us off.
All is clear. No questions. Okay.
No worries. I think Ben will go with you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that. I just want to look over the cost structure a little bit more, if that's all right, because I didn't get time to write them all down. How has the reception been to that? Because 3 tiers is interesting. You know, you're aiming for that small, large, and lower. What's kind of the feedback on that costing structure from people you've spoken to? Yeah, basically, we have 3 models because we are working right now with the ad hoc service. In this moment is the first time, because we think we can create a awesome product if we create with our clients, asking them what is exactly what they needed. Then the first plan, the startup plan, is 49 euros, because we calculate the minimum necessary for a company to use our Scratch.
And the second one is to companies a little bit higher than the last, because they need a bit more, but we think it's necessary for them. We can create more plans, but we tried and we tested, and I think it's the best solution. Sorry for the answer.
No, it's
Long
okay. That's
answer.
perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Antoine, if you want to go, sir.
Yes, what was the limits on the second package, the 75 euro package?
Mm-hmm.
What were the limits for the number of chats? It seemed a little low, and I would like to see like a more of an enterprise package with a higher
Yeah.
limit than what was shown on the screen. So that would be my one comment, is that the packages, there could be one that's more enterprise focused without having to contact customer service, where you can just kind of like book it on the website.
Yeah, the second one is because the first one is very thin, and it's the second one. For example, if a client has a PrestaShop in e-commerce, the first one is very low for them. Then the second one is the best way to a little company and a little website. That example, e-commerce, for example, and if they need to connect all the documents, internal documents, we can get connecting using API. But the most important in this moment is the other plan, because the first one and the second one maybe in a future change, because we think it's maybe to a little companies, and we want to work with another companies with a bit higher companies.
Yeah, I would
And
definitely
in this moment, that's not, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. I would definitely recommend like a higher tier package, because right now it kind of looks like you're not serving or catering to large businesses. But overall,
Perfect. No, thank
yeah,
you so much.
Okay, sorry.
No, I was just going to say thank you, Antoine, very much for the feedback as well. It makes a lot of sense. I apologize. I want to keep moving on, Carlos, but you did a fantastic job. So thank you so much for your presentation and for the questions as well. All righty, folks, we're going to move on to our next startup. I have Ivan Krukov, who's the co-founder and CEO of Buddy AI. Ivan, give me 1 second and I'll pass you the presenter role, sir. All righty, you should be able to share your screen now, Ivan.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you and see you loud and clear too, so whenever you're ready.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ivan. I am an immigrant and a father of 2 daughters whom I brought to the US, and their struggle to learn English as a second language inspired me to create Buddy, the world's first and now the leading AI tutor for children. You see, 500 million children are trying to learn English every year, but 99% of them won't reach fluency, primarily because of a lack of speaking practice. And Buddy is here to solve this problem. Let me show you how he works. Meet Buddy.
Hi, Ivan.
Hi, Buddy.
How are you?
I am great, and you?
I'm a little blue today. And orange. And what is his color?
Is it green?
That's right.
Thank you, Buddy. And Buddy is not another ChatGPT wrapper. It's based on a proprietary AI technology for children that we started developing 4 years before the AI revolution. You see, this field of children under 12 is heavily regulated, and so you just can't use off-the-shelf AI solutions. So we just had to build our own in-house thing. It is safe for children. compliant with COPPA and other regulation, super fast, and inexpensive to operate. So we are doubling year over year. Today, we have over 2 million monthly students and are generating about $650,000 in MRR. Buddy is unique. We are pioneering this approach of teaching children using this like conversational, basically like a virtual AI tutor in a mobile app. And we are leading the AI revolution in early learning. Buddy today is the most popular language app for children on Google Play and the most popular consumer AI product for children under 12. Yeah, our mission is to make one-on-one tutoring, quality one-on-one tutoring affordable to every child in the world, and we're progressing towards this goal. Happy to answer your questions and share more details.
Awesome, Ivan. Thanks so much. That's super cool.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. We'll open up. I see people's hands going up already, so we'll go ahead and start with Amelia, if you'd like to go, please.
Yeah, I was wondering, one of the key things that she said was that there's not enough practice for English. My understanding is that a lot of children who have moved to the US, because they're children, they have to go to US schools. That's a lot of the speaking practice is actually in schools. A lot of children actually lose their native languages that they moved to the US with unless they speak it at home. So what's the value here if they actually can speak English with their teachers, with their peers? I feel like it's actually the native language is probably going to be lost if they're not speaking at it, if they're not practicing it at home.
Thank you, Emilia. The thing is, most of our users are outside of the US.
I see.
So today, only about 20% of our users are in the US. And it turns out that the immigrant families actually really need some help to start speaking, especially when children just starting to, let's say, attend like a preschool. So my daughter, for example, wasn't able to start speaking for 6 months in preschool, and she really struggled. She, wasn't able to make friends and stuff, and it really helps. But also, like a larger vision is actually to create an AI tutoring platform to teach wide variety of subjects. And in the US, we actually launched a program aimed at just a general school prep. And it's growing super fast. In the US, we're growing like 4x year over year with this program and just hit $100,000 MRR.
Awesome, Ivan. Thank you so much. Thomas, we'll go to you. You there, Thomas? Did I lose you?
Sorry, my microphone's on silent. Thanks for the presentation. Can you elaborate a little bit on how the sort of lessons would be structured? I understand they're very interactive, but how would a kind of typical conversation with the AI agent work, and how would the sort of progress be monitored and checked?
So today we are aiming primarily at the beginners, children at the lowest proficiency levels. And the lessons are mostly structured as voice-based games to learn vocabulary, pronunciation, and simple phrases. So they are not like open-ended conversations like you would see on ChatGPT wrappers. They look more like voice-based games. So let's say Buddy would show you like 2 objects and would ask you to like create a phrase like seeing those 2 objects. Like let's say like a red color and like a cat, and like it would ask you to say like a red cat, something like that.
Thanks.
Victor, if you want to go, and then Ben and Antoine, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. Hi, Ivan. I just would like to know more about the AI you mentioned. We have seen these kinds of games before that children use, or these kinds of apps where children can talk to the application and the application responds. So I would like to know more about what's the exact use case of AI, and is there a level of personalization that you offer to the learning method of each children? Is it different for every children? Like, what's the exact use case for AI here?
Victor, can I ask you a clarifying question? Where have you seen an AI talking to a child? There are no like COPPA compliant solutions other than ours.
No, I'm saying that I'm not talking specifically about AI based. That's what I want to know, that what is the use of AI, because these kinds of apps where the app talks back to the children have existed before.
No.
You can talk to me in in a separate session and we can discuss it, but I would like to know, like, what's the exact use case of AI in your app particularly?
Right, Victor. So I'm not sure what apps do you refer to. So Buddy is basically the first app that offered this experience where you have a conversation with a virtual character. So that's the core UX, and that's where our AI is. So our AI has like three components. First is just speech recognition. Basically, there is just a couple of COPPA compliant speech recognition solutions that you can take off the shelf, and they are paid solutions and pretty low quality. So for example, you can't use Google's or Apple's speech recognition on children, the free speech recognition that goes with iOS or Android. And so we, for example, built our own speech recognition engine that dramatically overperforms Google or Apple speech recognition on children. Basically because we're collecting a lot of data, like over 1,000 hours of data, and just continuously improving our speech recognition thing. Second element is this conversational AI. So we are building our own language model specifically for children. It's like a smaller model, not as sophisticated as like large language models, but it's like more than enough to provide this educational experience that we need with children. So we don't expect children to ask Buddy to write an essay for them, but it is safe, compliant with regulation. So again, you can't use ChatGPT or other large language models with children, so they won't just allow it based on their policies. And it's just considered unsafe. And the third thing, we are generating Buddy's visual behavior, the character's visual behavior, based on the context of conversation. And it's not like generative AI where you would generate the picture. So we have this actual like 3D models, and their behavior is generated based on the context of conversation. So for example, when we speak about colors, Buddy would change color, or I don't know, say hat, and Buddy would put on a hat, stuff like that. And it's also like AI, like an AI generated thing. So three components to our platform, and they form this core experience of the multimodal AI tutor, and we are pioneering this approach.
Thanks. Thanks a ton, Victor, for your question, and Ivan for your response as well. We have time for a couple quick questions as well. We'll go with Ben and Antoine, and if we have time as well, Tom. I hope we can keep our answers short as well. Again, sorry, Ivan.
Ivan, thank you. Let's delve a little bit more into that training data, because this is interesting. Because for me, training an AI model to understand not just to say the next word, but to how to say it, that structure. How is it from a training perspective that you guys are actually managing to teach this model or build the model, training it to understand? That's kind of what I'm interested in, the actual kind of inner mechanisms, if you will.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. So there are basically several models we use. One model is for speech recognition, and I would say the speech recognition is really like a deal breaker. So if Buddy does not understand, like recognize your speech, anything else like doesn't really matter. And we faced with a unique problem when you teach children and beginners, they start from single words, and often from short words. And standard speech recognition solutions are actually optimized for long phrases. The longer the phrase, the easier it is to recognize. And so we had to teach our own model to understand, to recognize like a short phrases said by heavily accented children's speech. Let's say a 4-year-old Korean girl trying to say her very first words in English, like a very specific issue. And it's based on, so like our head of AI is spent like 20 years researching this field in the University of Southern California. And we have a pretty interesting like architecture of the system, but also data. So we just collecting over 1,000 hours of speech data. And now we have over 25,000 hours of speech data, and we just continuously, perfect the model to make it understand children better.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Antoine and Tom, with two really quick questions. I want to be really conscious of time.
First of all, I love the pitch. How much memory is there for personalization? Will it remember a conversation from a month ago, a week ago? How does that work?
Antoine, only it would remember only certain key things. So not the conversation you had, but let's say like your favorite color, some important facts that Buddy could use for further personalization, not like the conversation you had. We just don't need this capability, and like the speed and to make it really inexpensive, much more important for us.
And is this being marketed towards preschools or parents?
So it is a consumer thing. And one of the cool aspects of our business that actually most of the downloads are made by children, over 70%. Yeah, we actually have a pretty popular YouTube channel where we market Buddy as a AI influencer. We use the same technology to generate content it's like educational cartoons, basically, where Buddy explores the earth. And yeah, children just download the app and use our educational pitch to convince parents to pay for a subscription.
Thank you very much.
And we'll wrap up with Tom.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I have a question around continuous adoption of your platform or engagement, because you've got a clear problem in my head with children staying on the platform. And obviously, if they get up to the age of 10, then they'll swap over to Duolingo or Babbel or someone else who's more adapted to the older market. So I know, for example, with my nephews, their family on the mother's side, they speak German fluently, and they couldn't get the kid to stay with the language, the two of them, and they dropped off because they didn't have an interest. Obviously, this was with English. How do you approach that kind of challenge of adoption and keeping with them? Because it seems like you might hold them for a couple of years, and then after that, they stop the subscription.
Yeah, Tom, that's actually the goal to just keep them to work with children under 12. So we like the goal is to longer term is to work for children, let's say for 4 to 12. So like by teaching several subjects one after another. But today, we are also as a product pretty early. We invested a lot in the technology. But for us, keeping a user with us for like 2-3 years is really, really a goal. And how we approach that, we are making Buddy. The answer is game design. So like basically our team combines expertise in AI, education, and game design. And we are just building Buddy experience as the game from scratch. And we also plan to rebuild like the game part of it over the next 2 years, pretty dramatically, building a very strong like game design team.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I wonder how competitive it would hold up if Duolingo or Babbel came out and did the same thing with a much bigger audience group. And I don't know how that would impact it if they were to start targeting the same sort of initiative, because you're in a great user group and they are a brilliant area. And like you said, 2-3 years is brilliant. But yeah, I wonder what if they were going down that same line.
Pretty narrow, but still at least 500 million. It's a huge audience. And frankly, no one wants to mess with children, probably because of regulation. We started some time ago There were 3 attempts to copy us directly, all failed, probably because of just speech recognition issues. And larger players like Duolingo made several attempts to enter Kidspace unsuccessfully. You know that there is a Duolingo for kids, and it's just a hardcore field. And I mean, like Mondly Kids, for example, many have tried and just abandoned the field, because I guess you really need to be a parent. So we are a team of parents, and we just, you know, draw inspiration from our children using the product. And I mean, it's a hard market, and it's getting harder and harder every day. Like today, for example, Google said we can no longer use their like advertising identifier on our app because like as a whole like family category. So yeah, I mean, no one wants to mess with this market, and that's why we will be the dominant force here, because we love it. We love this market. We love this
Thanks so much, Ivan. I hate to cut you off, but it's really interesting what you've been building again, and so really appreciate you sharing it with us. But yeah, thanks so much. And apologies, I know we went a little long. I want to make sure that we keep enough time for everybody. We're wrapping up on the presentations. We have our final 3. I'd like to bring on our next presenter. Super excited to invite him up on stage, Alper Aydin, who is the co-founder and CEO of Trippinly. Alper, give me 1 second, sir, and I'll pass you the presenter role as well.
All right.
While we're waiting for Alper to load up as well, I just wanted to say thank you very much to the media panel. You guys have some awesome questions, some really good feedback, and also keeping up to date in that score sheet as well. So thank you everybody for all that. Alper, I see your screen and I think I can hear you okay. So whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer.
All right. Thank you so much, Jim. Once again, hi everyone. My name is Alper. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Trippinly. Trippinly is the all-in-one travel platform for travelers to utilize any kind of digital solution they need before, during, and after their travel. So basically, while we are planning our trip, most probably we are facing with too many choices with not enough credibility, and most probably we are ending up with using lots of notes and spreadsheets which are not so convenient. And nowadays we are also give a shot for AI recommendations, and most of them are not so convenient for us because it's not possible to take actions from these recommendations. So basically, when we check the reality, there is a huge gap between the travel expectations and reality. And in order to tackle this problem, we are on progress of developing the AI-powered chatbot and virtual assistant, which is a product include all 3 aspects of instant help and personalized advice, booking assistance, and travel route optimizer. By including all these 3 solutions in one product, we can get actionable advices, reduce friction in planning and decision making, and we can provide you a more enjoyable and stress-free travel experience. So in order to do that, we use natural language processing, predictive analytics, and collaborative filtering as an AI technologies. And in our in terms of our business model, we are providing premium subscriptions to the end users with monthly and yearly subscription options. And at the same time, users can use our AI chatbot by only getting Trippinly credits with starting from 299 euros. So we are an experienced team with more than 40 years of combined experience in travel tech and software development, and our team is starting to expanding. We are still early stage. We just launched our application, and we got great feedback and traction in the last two weeks. And if you love travel just like me, I will be so happy to give a shot to our application in our App Store, and we promise that Android users will launch use the application as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
Fantastic, great presentation, Alper. I'm already seeing hands shoot up, so we'll go ahead and start with Thomas and then Amelia.
Hey, thanks for the presentation. You're combining a lot of very distinctive services. One that I was particularly curious about was the booking component. Which kind of third-party booking providers will you integrate, or how are you going to actually arrange that? And how are you going to be able to get on board people who are providing the rental accommodation?
Thanks so much for your question, Thomas. First of all, we are gonna planning to integrate the APIs. First of all, from different channels, and at the same time, by understanding our users' behaviors and expectation, we are trying to do our best to personalize and their experience and suggest the best possible option in terms of booking. And our main aim is to making all this booking happen without leaving the application. So this is the tricky part. So that's why we are trying to combine different type of technologies and AI technologies as well in order to achieve this.
So would you hope to integrate some of the biggest booking platforms, whether that's an Airbnb or a Booking.com, and all of them? Is that the target?
Yes, it is the target for now. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Thomas. We'll go ahead with Amelia.
Yeah, I have a question about the pricing. For example, I travel quite often, but what normally happens is I don't travel for very long stretches of time. It's something that is kind of like more intermittent. So how did you kind of come up with that pricing structure? Because it seems like there's a monthly product. Who uses a monthly product? Who travels monthly? And that clearly isn't for work if they have to decide for themselves where to go. And second is the $299 version. Is that something like, was that more for the intermittent traveler, for example?
My favorite question. Thank you so much for that. So because you give me an opportunity to explain a little bit more about our business concept, which is all-in-one travel platform. So normally we are not a travel app, we are not a travel tracker, we are not a trip planning app. So basically Tripin is like a all-in-one travel platform, which we target you to use our application before, during, and after their travel. So basically we want you to use the application even if you are not traveling, by providing some exclusive offers. And at the same time, we're trying to be the inspirational hub for your next travel destination. So basically, by focusing on all the travel journey of the travelers, we can help them to get most out of it from the application. So basically, you don't need to go for lifestyle apps in order to get some inspiration. And at the same time, we are not these kind of travel apps, which is everyone's quite favorite disappointment nowadays, because everybody is trying to develop a travel application or ChatGPT based travel trip planners. So this is not us. So our concept is our differentiation point. So that's why we want people to use our application in a daily basis, whether they are traveling or not traveling. So based on this concept, we made our pricing, and at the same time, these $299 is a quite reasonable price level for us, because when we compare our competitors, both direct and indirect competitors, you only need to use one credit for one query, and at the same time, it's more convenient and it's inexpensive for us. So by doing that, we can keep the price low for our users, and at the same time, we can provide a very useful insights for our B2B partners, because we are not a B2C or B2B business model. We are a hybrid network. So that's why we can create a value for both sides. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alper, for your answer. Thanks, Amelia, for your question as well. We'll wrap up with Antoine.
I just had a question. Have you considered making it free and monetizing by connecting to OTAs like Expedia and Booking.com?
Thank you for your question, Antoine. Basically, it's a free app, and if you want to get some premium features, you can become a premium subscriber by getting monthly or yearly fees. And in order to keep the quality level in a certain level, we need to charge users, especially because of the hosting, other thing, the using of the queries, and when we think about the OTAs part, it's not that profitable for us. So that's why we prioritize providing some quality suggestions. And at the same time, like I told you, our main idea is we don't want you to leave the app and look for the other solutions, websites, applications, because based on the statistics, you just starting planning your next trip 3 months before your trip, and you are encountering more than 850 digital touch points. So it's a very huge number. Our aim is to mitigate this, give you a more inspiration, and at the same time use this application in a daily basis. So that's why I think our business model and pricing is based on that, and hopefully we will get great feedback and opinions from our users. And by the way, thanks so much for your feedback. Also, we will definitely consider this as well.
Thank you.
Thanks a ton, Antoine. Amelia, if you wanted to follow up with anything.
Yeah, I was just wondering, will this have some level of personalization? I think that's what a lot of I know Expedia is trying to do, more personalized travel. I'm just trying to kind of figure out, why would anyone pay and use it every day if it's not personalized to them, if it's not Instagram, like I want to travel to places my friends are going to. That's why I go to social media. What would make this any different?
Yeah, once again, thank you so much for your question. So basically, if you're a frequent traveler, or depending on your category, we have 36 different travel categories, and based on that, we are categorize users and their behaviors, also tracking their behaviors, and try to provide the best trip suggestions, best exclusive offers to them. And the best part is you can even earn money from your trips if you produce authentic experience-based content. We can calculate your engagement rate, and we have a commission-based monetization policy, which we monetize users. So you don't need to be an influencer, you don't need to be a blogger. Just like me, I'm just an ordinary traveler that enjoy sharing my trips and travels with my loved ones, with my families and friends. You don't need to be lots of followers, you don't need to be lots of people in your profile to do that. So by doing that, we can share our revenue with you, but at the same time, by paying us either monthly or yearly, you can get personalized suggestions and make most out of your trip. So that's the deal.
Thanks a ton, Amelia, for your great questions. Alper as well for a great presentation, and congratulations on everything you guys have built in a short amount of time. Looking forward to seeing how it grows.
Thanks so much.
All right, folks, I'm going to bring up our next presenter. Nate McLeach is the founder and CEO of QuickBlocks. Nate, give me 1 second, sir, and I will pass you the presenter role. All right, Nate, you should be able now to share your screen. Let me know if I can see it. I can't hear you yet.
Hi, can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, now we can hear you okay.
All right, awesome. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me here today. I'm Nate, the CEO of QuickBlocks, and wanted to introduce you to our platform where we're revolutionizing real-time communication by integrating AI tools for smarter, more efficient workflows across a variety of industries, including healthcare. So in terms of the problem, sorry, let me just, healthcare and other industries, in today's world, organizations face two kind of major challenges. One is how do they maintain secure real-time communication? And then also how do they take advantage of AI and tools like that to create automation? And traditional communication tools fall short in kind of hitting either one or the other. You're either interacting with a chatbot or you're interacting, with other human people. So what we're looking to do is basically incorporate AI within the actual communication workflows themselves and allow customers to basically create their own real-time communication use cases, especially in industries like healthcare, where we do a lot of business, where we enable with data security to provide HIPAA compliant messaging and communication. So what does this look like in real practice? We've got a app called Q Consultation, which is able to be embedded and white labeled within customers' applications. It provides AI-powered communication experiences, such as patient AI-powered intake, automatic generation of SOAP notes, billing codes, and medical coding. And then it basically enables human handoff to enable kind of integrated workflows so that basically humans and AIs can work together effectively for providing kind of customer communication experiences. And then, sorry, just one second. Okay. And then in terms of the uniqueness of this functionality is how we're actually integrating the AI within the actual workflow. So we're doing this through a HIPAA compliant smart chat assistant. So within the AI, you can actually do things like real-time translation, have functionalities like answer assistance through a knowledge base through a RAG, and then enabling things like human handoff. So if the AI isn't able to answer the question, then you can set up some programmable logic to enable kind of human handover. So this can enhance both internal facing and external organizations. So we see that the future of communication is AI mediated communication, where effectively you're going to have a mashup between AI assistants and humans communicating with one another. And so we think our technology is basically the bridge to kind of tie those together across a variety of kind of regulated use cases. So how are we charging for our business? We're providing this as a SaaS model, so people can effectively use our SDKs or APIs to integrate, and they can have real-time communication like video calling and messaging and file sharing. But they can also enable AI assistance within that exact same workflow. So effectively what that means is that if they want to add something like AI hard intake, then they can program the questions that the AI would ask. If then that workflow is then defined, then they can also have the AI summarize the workflow and then hand it over to some sort of administrative staff or providers within, say, healthcare environment where they can get a summary right in front of them. So effectively with this, it basically enables customers to take a deep kind of integration between AI processes that they're already adding today to kind of access information and make that information available, but also taking advantage of seamless human in the middle, where you can basically validate and kind of confirm on any details along those lines. So we're seeing good traction in healthcare at the moment because we have a number of customers already use our communication tools, and they're using it for things like practice intake. They're using it for things like triage and providing summarizations to humans providers as they go through the process. So that's kind of what we're doing, providing a new set of tools with AI embedded communication for a variety of regulated industries. Thanks.
Thanks a ton, Nate. I'm sorry to cut you off there. And,
oh, good.
No, I really appreciate it, actually, and also the AI to human pass off really resonates with me because I was almost about to throw my phone the other day in an interaction between my healthcare providers. So very cool what you're building. Thank you for sharing that with us. We'll go ahead. I see Thomas's hand up. If you'd like to start us off, Thomas, with any questions or comments for Nate.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a slightly UK-centric question, but given your focus on healthcare, obviously we have in the NHS an enormous market for something like this. And having worked for the NHS, I could see many use cases. I was just wondering if you had made much inroads into attracting clients in the National Health Service, and if that was a big target market for you.
So funny enough, our company is actually incorporated in the UK, and I lived there for about 18 years, and I've been back in the US for about 5. We don't have very many inroads in the NHS. It's a long procurement process, but we are seeing traction across a variety of kind of US healthcare and health tech companies, as well as global ones as well. So like use cases that we see are a variety of doctor practices who want to kind of like automate the form intake that you have to do in every office you go in. You can do that through the AI answering those questions or some sort of status form, and then having that done as an AI summary and then handing that right to the admin staff within the practice. So we're seeing use cases around that. We're also seeing kind of more deeply embedded use cases where customers would take our SDKs or APIs and they'll say, okay, I want to have like an agent, but let's say you got 4 people who are chatting about, a patient or chatting about some event, to be able to add the AI real time within that chat message and say, hey, can you summarize all our conversations and then give us an action plan out of this? It kind of basically kind of seamlessly weaves the two together.
Thanks.
Thanks. We'll go with Amelia.
So I know you're not just focused on healthcare, but I want to focus on the healthcare bit a little.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other startups that are also working on real-time communications between doctor and patients using AI for the healthcare space. I just want to know what makes you different from a lot of those other startups, and also because Google also has something like that. Amazon also has something like that, but there are also startups that are focused specifically on just that interaction between doctor and patient.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. I mean, I think what we're doing is we're powering the whole human communication AI workflows. In terms of on the regulatory side, we've got a BA with OpenAI, so non-retention. So none are the data between these interactions are passing back to the model. We also have SOC 2, and we can deploy the data within the customer's own hosting environment. So in all these cases, they can be ensured that the PHI is protected of the end user. And then in terms of on the workflow, we're just not focusing on, say, the patient-doctor interaction. We're actually focusing on the whole workflow automation within healthcare organizations. So our product is used for telemedicine, no doubt, and Q Consultation provides an out-of-the-box embeddable solution. But we also have the ability to kind of tie that within, say, let's say you have an internal chat group like your own WhatsApp. You can then add the AI assistant to that kind of use case as well. Or let's say you want to do care coordination or follow-up, or let's say you have a doctor's office where they want to do some sort of patient intake. So we're actually looking to see how we can tie in and cover a variety of different use cases. So yeah, and also on the AI side, we have basically 3 or 4 different AI integrations ourselves. Like we have our own RAG, we have our own integrations, but we're also integrating in other AI tools and other AI functionality. So effectively, we see enabling the whole communication workflow as being the end goal here, and provide that as a solution. Because someone else may create a better chatbot to do cancer diagnosis, or someone may create a better chatbot to measure your cardiovascular health, and we should be able to tie that into the actual real-time communication and also be able to direct the person to the right person at the right time. Hi, Ben, I can see you had a question.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. And thanks, Jim, as well. Apologies you mentioned it. Like Amelia, I'm also filing copy at the same time. But the translation side of things is something that I'm interested in on this, because obviously, comparative to the UK, there's a lot more Spanish speakers, a lot more Portuguese speakers in the US. What's the kind of consideration around that? Does this work with purely English, or is it able to translate?
So if they're using our messaging SDKs, we've embedded an AI integration layer to basically do real-time translation.
Sure.
So effectively, as the message gets passed through from, say, me to you or someone else, effectively you can have the AI basically translate that to your native language. Obviously, there may be some AI which are better than others, and we kind of look at who's providing the best kind of use case or best APIs for integrating in real-time messaging translation. But yeah, so effectively, the user can receive a message, they can have it translated in their own use case. So the workflows that we basically see is intake in whatever language they want, summarization to the AI. AI then goes to some sort of RAG to kind of provide, information according to what they ask, and then provide in the human handoff. So, hey, I need to see a cardiologist, or hey, I just need to see a general practitioner, or hey, I just need to make an appointment. So basically flow those into like the workflows, and then they enable communication in the language of the person. So we haven't added the voice, real-time voice translation yet, but that's certainly on our roadmap to look at that as the next piece of the workflow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. And Nate, very impressive. Thank you so much for sharing with us, sir.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right, folks, we're going to hit our last presenter. And before we do, I just wanted to remind the judges as well. I'll give you about 30 seconds at the end to finalize scores, but if you can keep up to date with the scoring and the cards. We are going to bring on Amirali Mohajir. Forgive me, Amirali, if I've butchered that a bit. CEO and co-founder of Host AI. Amirali, give me 1 second and I will pass you the presenter role. Okay, you should be able to share your screen now.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, everyone. All right, are you able to? Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Amir Ali. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Host AI, and we're kicking off a direct booking revolution in travel. So let me get that. All right. So let's think about the last time you booked a hotel or an Airbnb. What if I told you that a 5-minute search could have saved you hundreds, potentially thousands of dollars? That sounds amazing, right? That's what we're making happen by helping lodging brands connect directly with their guests. Now, listen, travelers are fed up with fees. We all know that. But lodging brands are leaving enormous sums of money on the table too. Every year, they're spending about $40 billion on distribution, and still $400 billion worth of their rooms are going empty. Now, direct bookings gives them the agency to fill these rooms. But growing direct bookings is obviously very difficult. So at Host AI, we're making direct bookings as simple and reliable as listing on online travel agencies. And it's working. Our clients have seen the direct bookings grow by between 50 to 100% after using Host AI. And we do this by offering clients a white label AI first storefront with programmatic SEO and generative engine optimization built in and automated ads on top. All of this is built on a proprietary model that's purposely built for lodging. And then we use language models to take some actions like generating content for the landing pages. And now is the time to do this because generative search and AI companions will expand our attention beyond the most visible option on the web and towards the most suitable one that actually matches our requirements. And we've set ourselves up to have a skin in the game. We charge a small subscription fee and a success fee to align our progress with what our clients are making. You know, the travelers are voting with their dollars. We've grown more than 12x year on year already, and August is not even finished yet. Online travel agencies, you know, are like the department stores of the internet. They were incredibly useful once to aggregate options, but in the age of AI, they're becoming less relevant. Take it from me, I scaled an online travel agency to 100 million GBV in 2 years, and I was a head of product at Booking Holdings. We're going to make direct bookings the new default in travel. It's a better outcome for travelers and for lodging brands. Thank you.
Fantastic presentation, Aurelia. Thank you so much for sharing. We'll open up for questions from the judges panel or any initial comments as well that they might have. Really fascinating what you're building, and especially in the space. Victor, if you want to start us off.
Yeah, hi, Amir Ali. I just wanted to know that, with travel data being a bit scarce for every other consumer, right? How does the app improve over time for one customer particularly and make sure that it provides better and better recommendations every time?
That's actually a fantastic question. And I think that's part of the proposition that we bring to our clients because there's an embedded data network effect in the service that we provide. Essentially, each one of these individual clients are going to have a very difficult time optimizing their outreach and conversion efforts in and of their own because the volumes are very small. What we do is aggregate data across multiple clients and aggregate the learning so we can take action on their behalf for better optimization, for better targeting, and better pricing. And so with each individual client that joins Host AI and uses our service, our overall product for all our clients gets better.
Thank you.
Thanks, Victor. I'm gonna. Sorry. Go ahead, Amelia.
How do these direct booking sites find find the clients? Like, how do you help them find the clients? For example, if I was traveling, I don't know some of those other sites. I would always go to like the Airbnbs of the world. But at the same time, I also know that I did not like being targeted for any ads. Anytime I'm going to be traveling, it makes me not want to go there. So how do you do that balance? And two, how do you find the clients for those direct booking sites in the first place? when kind of that's the whole value proposition, is for them to reach people who normally wouldn't be looking for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's actually kind of a series of kind of efforts that we do to support them, right? So the first thing that we do is actually there's quite a lot of people that seek these guys out already, and they just don't trust to kind of end up kind of putting down the credit card and booking with them. So that's kind of the first thing that we do, right? So there's a concept called the billboard effect, where you would actually go and find the accommodation on Airbnb or on Expedia or whatever, and then you seek them out directly to see if there's an offer there. And so actually taking advantage of that is the number one. Number two is we help position these folks on long tail searches on search engines, which, like, is the starting point in 1 out of 3 travel discovery planning process, right? So, and as search becomes more and more specific towards generative search and towards AI companions, our ability to become much more fine-grained in targeting on their behalf increases. And so that essentially increases the probability of success on driving bookings, right? If you search for something like Airbnb in San Francisco, and we try to run ads for one of our clients against Airbnb, we're never going to succeed because Airbnb has all the options, right? But if you search for something like we're looking vacation rentals near Dolores Park that has a hot tub, and Airbnb, there's like 20 options on Airbnb, and 10 of them are managed by one of our clients, that significantly changes the dynamic around what we're able to offer you as a prospective traveler in terms of the range of options and the discount that you can get by booking directly, and the return on ad spend or improve in kind of search engine optimization that we can drive for our clients.
Thanks, Emilia. We'll go with that. Antoine?
Some of these functionalities seem similar to Guesty, so I'm wondering if you could tell me how it differentiates from Guesty or how it works with Guesty.
Absolutely. Guesty is actually our first partner. They're a property management system. They're much more focused on the operations of the folks. So we're very complementary to them. They focus on operations, we focus on growth, right? And most of our clients are actually Guesty clients that use Guesty software to improve their operations and use Host AI to drive growth, right? So, Guesty has a templated website, but it's not kind of optimized to really kind of convert bookings, and it's not really helping them grow their audience online automatically.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thanks, Antoine. Amirali, I have a really quick question, and forgive me if it's a little ignorant. You had mentioned, part of the aspect of it is helping with ads and SEO as well for these hosts. And I was wondering if at some point, is there competition between companies that use your service for that? Let's say there's 2 guest houses in Myrtle Beach, North Carolina, very close to each other, have very similar things. They're both using your service. Is it whoever pays more gets better, or how does that work? If you could maybe explain, and forgive me again if it maybe not.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a great question. So if you're talking about ads specifically, right, for a very long time, it's going to be these guys against the big online travel agencies, right? So the level of the ad spend that they can allocate, it's not going to really move the market until like we become of such a kind of a substantial size that essentially online travel agencies become irrelevant, right? And that's kind of the direction of travel. And once we get to that, the competition against each other is not going to be unlike the competition that they have right now on online travel agencies. They're kind of going through all the lengths to kind of differentiate their offering. They're going to use Host AI services to essentially differentiate against each other, the value proposition that each individually offer to their guests. And really, the key thing there is about hospitality itself. They shouldn't really be worrying about, learning search engine marketing or advertising, right? That's not the business that they're in. They should be really focused on delivering a very compelling experience to their guests and differentiating that offering to you. And then, leave the online expression and kind of discoverability to us.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Amirali, thank you so much for taking the time to present for us today. Folks, I want to give about 30 seconds to the judges. If you guys want to just make any final changes to the scorecard. During that time, I did want to just go over again and thank Paul Orlando, the adjunct professor for the Lloyd Grief Center for Entrepreneurial Studies at the University of Southern California, as well as Ranjit Tinekar, the CEO and board member at Ness Digital Engineering, both for starting us off today. I do want to remind everybody, participants, all you guys will get a copy of Paul's book as well, Why Now? And we'll be sure to follow up for your emails so we can send that to you. Again, a big thanks as well to all of our media judges today who took time out, and we've also held them over as well. So I just wanted to send a big thanks to Amelia David, again, AI reporter at VentureBeat, Thomas Macaulay, who's a senior reporter at the Next Web, Victor Day, who is a contributing writer to the New York Observer and many other technology publications, Ben Wadecki, from Capacity Media, also Tom Allen, founder and CEO of the AI Journal, and Antoine Tardif, of course, from Unite.ai. Thank you, all of you, for taking time out of your day to be here with us. And again, thank you to all the startups. It's not easy to present in front of such a distinguished media panel, but you all did a very good job. So everybody deserves a pat on the back today. But I would invite everybody to unmute so we can give a little round of applause for the top winners for us today. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and mute, and I'll go ahead and I'll name the top founders here. Forgive me, just give me a sec. Tally up the scores. Forgive me, we're running a little low on team members here today, so I'll be doing this on my own. Okay, so for third place, and please again, folks, if you'd like to just come on screen, say a couple words as well, but we'll all be sure to give a round of applause to the founders. In third place, we have Nate McLeach, who's the founder and CEO of QuickBlocks. Nate, fantastic work. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And I appreciate all the questions and feedback as well. I think I lost my track a little bit in the presentation, so I appreciate that.
No, you did fantastic. Again, Nate, it's always a pleasure to host you, so thank you for being with us. In second place, with a really compelling presentation as well, we have Ivan Krukov, co-founder and CEO of Buddy AI. Ivan, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
You did fantastic, Ivan, and it's really, I mean, Buddy AI is cute. I'm going to look into it more for nephews and nieces. So thank you so much. And in first place, very happy to announce our winner today, who did a very good job, and he hung in there until the very end to do it as well. So Amirali, CEO and co-founder of Host AI. Amirali, fantastic work, sir.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And I mean, this means a lot, given the members of the media are the ones that actually have a very deep understanding and the breadth of kind of solutions that are offered, and questions were amazing. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. This means a lot.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again to all of our founders, and thanks to the media panel. I'll be sure to send contact information for everybody as well. So if anybody would like to follow up and keep in touch, that's part of the Connect ethos here. But thank you again, and we'll hope to see you all next time for our next Connect event. Everybody take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, folks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.